In addition to the package we discussed, we have already received 2 billion euros, a package of assistance, support, and defense support from the French side. We have agreed with all the leaders on the number of important defense packages that will be announced during the Ramstein meeting. This is another agreement that will be ramshackle in April. Everyone will do everything for this, and the organization will be run by the UK and Germany. We have also reached agreements with partners in some countries. I won't elaborate on the expansion now. This is a European initiative. Expanding Ukraine's access to the intelligence and relevant satellite technologies that our European colleagues have. Then we agreed with some leaders on our Ukrainian access to their ammunition depots. We have agreed on licenses for the production of air defense, and we will also work on licenses for certain types of artillery. We agreed to invest in the production of Ukrainian drones and missiles. We have agreed to hold a meeting in Ukraine within a week in a narrow circle of representatives of the General Staff. The main countries that will be ready for a contingent on the territory of Ukraine will be a very narrow circle. At first, not all of them will come, but we invite them. A narrow circle. France, Britain, Ukraine will definitely be there. It is, let's say, a triangle. In this regard, we will showcase our infrastructure, work with partners, and develop our common vision. After that, we agreed that there would be a meeting immediately afterwards, not at the military level, but at the level of the security service. And this final meeting on security guarantees will continue. Then we agreed that we are grateful to the European Union, and the President is grateful to European Commission, President van der Leyen for having the rearm program with a large total volume of 800 billion euros. Each of the countries that will have access to this program will be able to take part of these funds and invest in Ukrainian production or in joint production with a particular state of Ukraine. And this is a very important signal for us. After the agreements we reached at the second meeting in Saudi Arabia with the US team, I clearly told Rustem Umerov on the phone, I have one question about the declaration that will be published. Who is monitoring? I think this is the key. Taking into account our experience, the tragic experience of any agreements with the Russians in the past, and the disruption of the ceasefire 20 times. Since when is it valid? Who to verify? Who is monitoring? We have learned that the American side will hold consultations internally in its Doha office, will consult both Saudi Arabia and Turkey on this, and also with some European countries on their readiness to monitor. I don't know the results of these conversations, and so far our American partners have not told us about it, but they have voiced it. We told them that they would not work without monitoring. Why? Because we have monitoring. If so, they work. Maybe they will help us in the war against the Russians and have some kind of intelligence. Maybe they have important, deep sources. It's interesting that some things somehow coincide. Sometimes some MPs, let's just say, have information from some embassies. Everything is very clear in terms of victory. The following things are absolutely clear. There is NATO, and there is NATO for Ukraine. The main security guarantees are a deterrent package of weapons and appropriate missiles. Long-range capabilities that only the United States of America has, which will be used if the Russians violate the Ukrainian border. This is a deterrence package for the future. Then there is the Ukrainian army. 100% manning, the active Ukrainian army, and then there are our mineral resources, which must be protected by everything I have just said. NATO. The Ukrainian army has long-range capabilities and defends all this. And then for being in NATO and for protecting all this, you say that the savage world doesn't get all this, and it is savage if it comes and kills. And these are Russians. It's North Korea, it's Iranian weapons today, and so on. We don't know who and what they didn't get, and that they gave away everything. That is now occupied. For all this, we must open up our capabilities and have such a strong partner who has given us all this. But I'll give you everything that's written above. And if our plan is to win, and this is a victory, because it is the preservation of Ukraine's independence for which we must pay. And it's perfectly normal. How? You know how it is in the movies. There is a whole movie, and at the end there are credits. And then it turns out that we still have the credits. Well, the axis. That's the attitude. I think the official White House has already responded to this and denied even this as an idea, saying that we have a legitimate government and I am the duly elected president and we have a people's president according to our constitution. The European Union has done the same. Our European partners have all denied this as even a possibility. And the Europeans added to it. Everybody understands that the president of Ukraine is a legitimate president. Putin is a war criminal. That is, this is the response of the entire civilized world today. Putin is doing this for another reason. The question is not who is legitimate in his opinion, who is illegitimate. He constantly finds one reason or another not to end the war. He is afraid of negotiations with Ukraine. He is afraid to negotiate with me personally, and by excluding Ukraine in principle, in his vision, by excluding it, he shows that Ukraine is not a subject for him. Although I believe that the problems are deeper, he has no arguments in negotiations with the Ukrainian side. He really is a criminal, and he really attacked us. Indeed, he is guilty of crimes. And his army, they really are occupiers. They really are on our territory illegally, and they really should be held accountable for this. Everything he does delays any possibility, any process of negotiations, and delays any possibility of steps to end the war. He does not want to end the war, so once again we are saying that there is not enough pressure on him. It is very important for us that everyone recognizes this. Europe is absolutely consolidated. 99% understand this, so let's just say that this is absolutely consolidation. Everyone understands this. And Europe will continue to impose sanctions with packages. Even if someone in Europe blocks, Europe will find other ways. It will not be easy, but we will find ways. Therefore, he also realizes that this is the situation. And it is important for us that the United States of America joins the tough position of sanctions, the position of diplomatic pressure on Putin to the maximum, as promised by our partners. They promised that if Putin demonstrated an unwillingness to end the war, or at least to end the ceasefire, there would be tough responses. We are looking forward to it. I think we would talk to them if they have a vision of how to end the war. I think that if they are ready to go against the fact that Putin does not want to finish, and some people do, why not? I think there is some kind of opposition that is not afraid of Putin. Well, maybe they won't be afraid if Europe, America, and Ukraine are ready to talk to the opposition. It looks strange that, with all due respect, I was grateful for the organization of the meeting in Saudi Arabia. But, with all due respect to what the Russians offered to the Americans, when they talked about third countries, they discussed Saudi Arabia as an energy monitor. With all due respect to the leader of Saudi Arabia, I have a very good relationship with the Crown Prince, but they can't monitor all of our energy because of the means, because of the intelligence, because of the relevant professional people, the power engineers. I think they definitely don't, at least not in Ukraine.